Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Matt.
Chris, we need to drop everything right now and play the Colonel Sanders Dating Simulator.
I'm sorry?
There's a Colonel Sanders Dating Simulator.
And where can I find this Colonel Sanders Dating Simulator?
I don't think it's out yet.
Oh, okay. So why are we dropping everything now?
Because we need to wait in line or whatever people do for iPhones.
Wait for it online for however many days it is until it comes out into our hands and into our lives.
and then we play it.
So let me ask: is Colonel Sanders the only person we're dating?
The only thing that I can find on, let me look up the Steam page right now.
Okay, so this is a legit thing, by the way.
This is a legitimate thing.
Okay.
It's titled "I Love You, Colonel Sanders."
Okay, I'm looking this up.
You are the
one
one dating Colonel Sanders. You are not playing as Colonel Sanders.
It is literally the very, very first thing on when you type in "I love" on Steam. I love you, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. Oh, that is problematic.
Follows you, a promissory culinary student, as you try to date your classmate, Colonel Sanders.
Your classmate? It's a fucking school dating simulator.
All dating simulators are in schools.
What in the world? Oh wait, there's 9 lovable characters. What else is there?
Why would you date any? Who else is there to date other than Colonel Sanders?
If it's called Colonel, I love you, Colonel Sanders. What in the world?
Okay,
is
features
this?
9 lovable characters, multiple hours of playthrough, a dateable Colonel Sanders, a secret ending, a secret recipe, cooking battles.
Wait, you're forgetting the
battles.
shushes. There's shushes in there.
Shh, sorry. 11 herbs and spices.
11 herbs and spices.
Officially created by a KFC.
Cute miniature food as well. There is going to be released September 24th, and it's I
don't understand.
KFC actually is the publisher of this.
Yes, but no, that's fine. What I don't understand is why there are other characters to date. Who else is there in KFC lore?
Wait, I'm looking through the photos right now. There is, and I hope that our audience at home has someplace Steam so you can experience this with us. There is a dog as a talking character in this. Is this like catered to furries as well? Like, is this actually like?
I don't know.
Is this like are we opening up the floodgates on this? The developer is Sipe. I don't know, like the PS I usually...
the dog's a professor. You usually don't date professors.
Oh, okay.
Their name is Professor Dog.
I didn't even see the name! Oh my god. Wow. What a discovery for the start of our second episode. Alright, guys. Well, we'll update you later. That comes out September 24th.
September 24th.
Oh boy. Alright, well, welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. It was what an interesting start to the football season. I've actually kind of discovered that I don't love week 1.
Week 1 is really really bad.
Yeah, it's because it's just I feel like we all kind of come out of it like just really confused and like it kind of just went through like a fever dream. That's how I felt.
All the stuff we've been analyzing and trying to like predict and piece together during the off season just all goes to shit.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there. to be honest
and look,
with you,
it's always human tendency to overreact to things.
Yes,
especially in the social media age when the spiciest of takes, much like the spice of the 11 herbs and spices.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly.
That get the most attention, and you want to feel that dopamine rush from people liking what you posted.
Right, yeah, and it's certainly, you got a lot of that on TV shows all the time, and, you know, I think it's time to, like, channel that, and then let's, like, almost as, like, a meditation exercise, channel it, and then, like, let it go, and, like, describe why the overdramatic overreactions, maybe shouldn't be... we need to like take a step back and maybe let's not go that far yet. So, Welcome to our segment, Overdramatic Overreactions. And I know I proposed this idea almost immediately to Go Cubs because I was like, we have gone too far, you know, as a society to like even be sitting here right now and be like, oh my goodness, like
This is exactly what the rest of the season will play out as.
Yes, and let me start out with this stat. 7 of last year's playoff teams lost week 1. So let's just keep everything in mind on this.
Does that mean like week 1 last year or week 1 this year?
I can predict the future, so they made the playoffs.
Did last year's playoff teams lose week 1 last year, or did last year's playoff teams lose week 1 this year?
So last year, the 2018 playoff teams, the eventual playoff teams, lost week 1.
Okay,
that's all right. That is real. Yes. That is really confusing. Thank you for letting me clarify. So
no, it's okay. I just want to know because that I honestly think that says a lot. Like,
it does.
Bears and Saints are the two that I can think of off of the top of my head, who both of them kind of just didn't win week 1.
Well, Saints won.
And they made
Texans didn't. You meant?
I meant last season.
Oh, last season. Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
And then they made the playoffs.
yes, that's correct. And right, and both the Bears did win the division, and the Saints made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, and almost they didn't lose a game until the Cowboys in December. So it was like they had quite a stretch. So let's do some of these overreactions, and I'm gonna channel like the people of Cleveland at the moment, how they're feeling. Most likely it's going to go along the lines of, Browns will be the first team to go 0-16 twice. They have the talent in a lot of places, but no O-line. No hope. Dog pound, more like dogs pounded. OBJ, the watch, it's going to crush our entire team. The watch is going to kill our whole team.
Time's running out. Because the watch.
So everyone's counting out the Browns right now because they had an awful showing in the first week. That's the overreaction right now in terms of the fact that the Browns are not. First of all, they're not going to go 0-16. Second of all, yes, maybe we were a little too hyped at the moment for the Browns. I do still think that this team has a lot of talent. And I think that the offense has a lot of weapons, but the problem for them is the offensive line. They gotta fix that, because you especially don't want your left tackle kicking someone in the fucking face.
Yep.
Right out of the gate. But go to the defense, on the defensive side of things, and I still think that despite giving up some big plays down the stretch, they did play well early on, and I think that this team is still talented. It's just it needs to get used to a little bit of adversity, and it kind of needs a moment of like realizing what to fix. Certainly the huge amount of penalties, and addressing it moving forward. I think this team still has a great chance to do really, really well this year. It's just it ran into a buzzsaw that is apparently the Tennessee Titans. And
I want to issue an official apology to the Tennessee Titans because I didn't believe in them one bit going into this season.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when like the team is healthy.
Yeah.
That they can actually play football well.
It was incredible. Mariota had a great game on the road, and
he did.
Derrick
Henry balled out.
Yeah.
Delaney Walker balled out.
Well, yeah, and AJ Brown, it seems like he's going to be a great weapon for the Titans as well.
Excellent rookie debut.
Yeah, Cameron Wake was just completely, literally a home record. Like, he came in to the Browns' home and destroyed it. Like, he was great on defense. That whole defensive line was just suffocating for the Browns. So, huge props to the Titans. Now, we don't want to be overdramatic and say the Titans are going to be, like, your AFC South champions or anything like that, but you gotta admit, this kind of changes the way that we look at the Titans, like you said, Matt, and we are probably down the stretch, we might see them as a potential contender on that front, but I don't want to give up. I don't want to give them that much credit yet, and I don't want to give up on the Browns either. What about you? What's a team that you're gonna channel here?
Brian Flores is going to be the worst head coach in NFL history. They let a team score 59 points on them. And it was the Ravens, the run-heavy, run-first, defense-oriented Ravens. They let Lamar Jackson, who's a running back, throw 5 touchdowns on him. What are they even doing? All our players want to leave. Brian Flores is going to be terrible for the NFL.
Wow. Not only for the Dolphins, but for the NFL.
Well, the thing is, the Dolphins want to lose games.
This is what their goal is.
This is what their goal is. They're doing exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
The players who are requesting trades have not... The fact that they are on the tank team has not yet sunk into them that they are on the tank team. You are on that team because you play football poorly.
Wow. Well, that's a little rough, but yeah, it is very, concern. I think that there's a lot of people that are maybe just more so mad at the idea of them tanking, but I don't think that certainly not Brian Flores. I don't think the players themselves. I don't think they're trying to tank. It's the front office. It's the collection of players and of the players that they're saying, you know what, we're gonna put this product out on the field. It probably is not gonna win a lot, but it will put us in a position to potentially draft our quarterback of the future or just future major talent. And so. Yeah, it's not. I don't think that rests on Brian Flores' shoulders at all.
And well, the fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't ball out week 1 is a sign. It's a sign that that bad times are ahead.
Yeah,
because Ryan Fitzpatrick is usually reliable for that week 1 balling out.
That is very true.
And he got benched.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
for the worst quarterback in the league last year.
They probably are they probably just wanted to put him, to the side and just prepare him for next week, considering how many points the Ravens were up when they put Josh Rosen in. But yeah,
true.
Rosen, you never know. Rosen might end up coming out, but I don't know who's protecting him because it's a rough watch right now. The whole thing is a rough situation. And they got the Patriots next week, which, speaking of the Patriots, this team just locked them in for the next 5 Super Bowls. They're going to win every single one. That's it. It's over. It's over. Like, we're wasting our time watching this NFL with these Patriots because they're just going to win every single one. You know why? Because Antonio Brown's going to come in and he's just going to follow the Patriot way. The Patriot way. He's just going to follow lockstep, and they're going to have wide receivers for days. The defense is stepping up in the first week. They completely blew out a Steelers team that's not really terrible. And their Patriots are done. They're locked in. No one else is going to beat them. We're screwed. Now, I'll be honest, this is coming from a very, very deep place in my soul, but...
This is an argument that you have said before on podcast.
On podcast, yes. In our other podcast forums, but I'm trying to move myself away from this overdramatic overreaction, because as much as we want to sit here right now and be like, yeah, who's beating these Patriots? And you know what? In the next few weeks, we might be saying that. But it's still very early, and I mean, will Antonio Brown fall in line? He might. He very well might, and if that's the case, good for him. But I think that there could be a chance that this doesn't work out for them, that Bill Belichick can't stand him, or that even if it does work out for them, who's to say that a team can't step up and stop them? I mean, we've had a team with a plethora of weapons before. Not make it far in the playoffs. Look at the team that they beat, the Steelers, where they did have Antonio Brown and they had Le'Veon Bell. They had the weapons to do it, and they couldn't pull through on that.
And then Jacksonville existed.
Jacksonville, like this is right. And look, the Patriots look great, and I'm not saying that they can't win this year's Super Bowl, and I'm just saying that I think a lot of people are. They're mad in the sense of Antonio Brown, he kind of won, even though he should have been maybe not awarded for his behavior, fine, but I think a lot of people also are like, wow, Bill Belichick, he's only going to take people who aren't distractions, which was complete bullshit, because they took in Randy Moss, and Bill Belichick even said so at his press conference today. We took in Randy Moss, and the media blasted it, and he ended up working out great for them as part of that perfect season that happened. So enough with the whole he's not going to take in distractions. He's going to take in great players, and he's going to do what he wants with them. So I think the Patriots will be great this year, and they're probably going to be great, but let's not crown them as the Super Bowl champion yet. There's a lot of great AFC teams.
I agree.
And last but not least, and this is a team that you are a fan of here.
Mitchell Trubisky is a washed-up quarterback I don't know if he's washed up can even be
up?
counted because
He's 3 years into his
he
career.
was in his third year in the league, but I can't even make it through this one.
Go, keep going. Just power through.
Was never a good quarterback. The Bears are going to be terrible. We shouldn't have given up Vic Fangio. This is a disaster.
Yeah.
Chicago's doomed.
Doomed.
Well, the defense was good. You don't need to worry about Fangio. His team really sucked, but defense was fine. It's not the problem.
Yeah.
The Bears' offense sucked.
Yes.
There's no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. Literally every player was bad except for Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
And that includes offensive line. Chris, how many times have you seen a 1st and 40?
No, I would not say that there's a high count for that. No.
No, exactly. So don't get me wrong. The Bears were bad, but they also didn't play in the preseason.
Yeah.
The offense didn't have time to gel together. It was a decision by Matt Nagy to keep his players healthy, and it ended up biting him in the butt for week 1. Unfortunately, it was against a division rival and the biggest rival. Yeah, it sucked, but no need to hit the panic button yet. They'll get back in sync, back in form, and the next few weeks for the Bears are going to be pretty nice. So,
where are the next few opponents? Do you know?
It is the Broncos.
Yes.
I believe the Washington team is in there.
Yes.
Broncos and Washington are the next two.
Okay.
And then it's the Vikings, which is rough. But at least it's at home.
Right.
And then it's the Raiders.
Okay.
So 3 out of the next 4 games we will bounce back and have some positive feelings.
Have some hope. I think that it's worth noting. I think that the Packers defense showed up more than I initially thought, and you had guys up front like Kenny Clark, and you got the linebacking core with the 2 Smiths and Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith, and you had I wanted to say Blake Shelton for a second, but I know that's not his fucking name.
That is a country music.
I know. Fuck, I'm gonna forget his name now. I am completely botching it right now, but he had a great game. It's a linebacker, inside linebacker, I think. Give me a second.
Blake Martinez?
There you go. But it's a Blake. I knew it was a Blake.
I searched Packers Blake, and that's who came up.
That's a Blake. There you go. We got a Blake, guys. And even like they had just a Tremont Williams too in the secondary. Like they had a pretty good defensive showing. So I don't want to take away anything from the Packers. Now I'm not saying that they're going to be a dominating defense or anything, but I think they played well, and I think that was part of the reason why the Bears sucked. But the Bears did suck, and hopefully that kind of turns around. They'll just I think it's early season. You can't take too much from that right now.
That's with all of these. It is one game. There are 16 games to play.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Obviously, the scale of games in football compared to other sports is much greater.
Yeah.
Like, if you lose week 1 in baseball, you have 161 more chances.
Yeah.
You only have 15 in the NFL, but that's still like a lot of games to get through.
Yeah. And
so if your team sucked, don't worry, they may not totally suck all the time, unless you're the Buccaneers.
Oh, wow.
Or the Giants.
Yeah, well, now.
I might. So, usually... Sorry, Chris. Usually
okay.
I pick a team every year to just relentlessly shit on. 2 years ago was the Browns. That was their 0-16 season. Last year it was the Raiders. This year it was going to be the Giants, but I may pivot to the Buccaneers if Jameis continues to Jameis.
Yeah, there's a chance, and I don't know. They have a tough show. They're our first game for Thursday Night Football, so it's gonna be that's gonna be a tough turnaround for them. But just to wrap it all up in a nice little bow. There is 16 games. Week 2 is important, and we might get more of a sense of what it's happening. I don't think we'll know at all what's happening in the NFL until maybe October. So we got time.
And even then, just as an example from last year, until Lamar Jackson took over, you didn't see the Ravens as a playoff team, did you?
No. I mean,
No.
I don't think so. Anyway, I mean,
No.
well, I have to think back to it, but I think that they had some moments, but yeah, they were kind of like a middling team. And then Lamar Jackson took over. I kind of thought the season was over, and I think then that all of a sudden he balled out, and they had an amazing stretch.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was like the last 7 games of the season. So that was like November.
Yeah,
Start of November, late October. So
we
really don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really
and it's important to not overreact.
Definitely. That's the lesson here, folks. Even though it's fun to scream, and yeah, we'll do another one of these maybe a little bit later on. In the season.
Speaking of things that happened in week 1.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Nick Foles suffered a broken clavicle and will be out for a considerable amount of time, which is unfortunate. I honestly feel really bad for him.
Yeah,
because he Super Bowl MVP, helped his team get back to the playoffs the next year, and then got another chance somewhere else, got fucking paid, made bank, and then broke his clavicle. However, his replacement is a rookie man named Gardner Minshew. Which is one of the wildest names I've ever heard of a player. You know the Key and Peele sketch with all the wild player names?
I believe so.
Okay. The thing with those is that those are primarily like just trying to be as ridiculous and weird as possible. Gardner Minshew is as if you hit random on a random name generator. And I want to put this theory to the test.
Yeah.
So I have a random name generator up. Welcome to our new segment, Gardner Minshew's name generator. I have a random name generator. These can be from pretty much any language.
Yeah.
And I will get a first and a last name.
Okay.
From it, and I'm going to read them out loud, and we're going to decide if it makes more or less sense than the name Gardner Minshew.
Sure. All right, sounds good.
All right, first name.
Yeah.
Inokenti Ramili.
You know what? I'm going to say that's a more normal name than Gardner Minshew.
Okay, there we go. I'll agree with you.
I'll put my vote in that direction, definitely.
Okay, this one's easy. Dan Sauter.
That's definitely a more normal name.
Definitely more normal.
Definitely.
Stefan Bogdanovic.
Okay, still, currently Gardner Minshew is 0 for 3. This is much more. These are all normal.
Emmanuel Ers.
Still 0 for 4.
Still more normal.
This is really sad, actually.
Aeolos Adkins.
Say that one more time.
Aeolos Adkins.
Aeolus, that's iffy. That's iffy right there.
That's iffy.
Yeah.
Fantine Everett,
Gardner Minshew. Oh my god, it's like I feel like Fantine Everett is like the female version of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Or the more feminine name. Anyway, wow. Okay.
I've got a wild one here because it's like a Middle Eastern, South Asian name combined with an Irish name.
Okay.
Rajmund Tierney.
You know what? I actually might put that in the less weird.
Less weird, yeah, kind of.
In a way, like who? Just I mean, I know I'm stealing a Mr. Dave Damashek's shtick of sorts, but I'm on the weird baby names. Gardner, like who would name
and
their baby Gardner?
It's not like the a person who gardens, because there's no E between the D and the N. It's Gardner.
Yeah, like it's
Gardner, not gardener. Gardner.
Yeah, it's kind of a really hard pivot to make.
Yeah.
Before the show, we were actually kind of struggling with it a little bit. It's not an easy name to say at all. But on that note, the Mustachio man, I think he's going to be interesting to watch. He had one of the worst preseasons.
Yeah.
All the backup quarterbacks, but
all things considered, he did really well against the Chiefs.
Right, exactly. That's how I feel. It's kind of like in the preseason he did not do well, but then all of a sudden he kind of got into the rhythm in Kansas City, or at least against Kansas City. It was not a terrible showing at all, and I think a lot of people are kind of riding the hype train right now, and I think a lot of people are like. They almost want to like drink muscle milk with him, like he just fucking lift weights with him, grow out the mustaches.
Right, I got one more name.
All coming. Say one
more name.
Okay.
One more. Oyston McCoynish.
Okay, I think that's the first one I could definitely put on the weirder than Gardner Minshew column for sure. for sure. I think that is I think we've won on that front. That we've finally found
it.
We found a weird. I honestly thought going into this that we were gonna find a lot more weirder names. It was the weird name that we had to find that was more weird than Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
That's a shame. All right. So moving on here, it's really funny.
This is at the moment. This is my favorite segment we've ever done. I know we're only 2 episodes in.
Yeah. Oh well. What about Matt Watch, man? That's
Matt Watch is so short though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So we as virtual ball boys, as we've stated before, we will never step foot on a football field. We were very gun ho about that, or we will never play the game. We're ball boys at far. But you know what another position that will never step on the football field and play is general manager. And the role of a general manager tends to be the person that collects the players for the team and builds the team from within. And us as our video game mantra has kind of been in the theme a little bit for our podcast. We decided that we want to do move away from the NFL just for a little bit and go into another world and let's create our own teams. Now, you may see on the cover art that by the amazing Walsh Animations, who's done a lot of the art, actually all of the art for Team Chaos Productions and for Virtual Ball Boys. He's an amazing artist. Please go follow him. He's awesome, and he's a part, of course, of Team Chaos Productions. You'll see more stuff from him in the future.
Is there an underscore in his? I don't think there is.
No, I think it's
Walsh Animations.
Yeah, at Walsh Animations on Twitter.
Hold on. Is it animation or animation? Animation, no S.
No S. Okay, no S. At Walsh Animation. Period.
Cool. I just want to make sure we got it right.
No S at the end of it. Yes. No. Absolutely. So you will see that we have these 2 helmets that are not NFL helmets. These are kind of helmets that we kind of personified for ourselves. I'm the blue and orange striped helmet, and
I am the golden helmet with the red wing. Yes. I based this after my fantasy football team name, the Golden Griffins.
Yes. So he has the Golden Griffins. I want to create. I might rebrand at some point, but my team as going into this is going to be the New York Bozos, which has nothing to do with the stripes on the helmet. It's just that it was also a fantasy team name that I had back when I used to play fantasy.
That one season that we played, and Chris made the championships with a team of all rookies.
Yes, indeed. That was a unique year for me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into a video game world, and we're going to just draft a little bit of a team: a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, a key defensive player, and a kicker. So that's gonna be it's a 5-character draft, and why not go to a world where literally everyone is here.
Everyone is here.
And we're going to do Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for this. So we're going to draft 5 players from this roster of, I believe it's 65 characters, if I'm correct on that.
More.
It's gonna end up being more.
It was more before the DLC.
Yeah, there's more DLC coming. And
Incineroar is number 69.
Oh.
And he's one of the last ones.
Oh, okay. So that's
we're in like the 74-ish, 75.
Oh, I see. Okay, in total, this is at least 74. Okay, yeah, I'm reading it now. There's 74.
Not even including Echo Fighters.
Oh shit! Oh my goodness gracious! There's
a lot of choices.
There's
and we're going to pick 5 each.
So, but before we do, we have to choose who goes first. I have a coin.
I'm gonna call tails.
You're gonna call tails. Okay. I guess you're like the road team on this front because I have the coin. All right.
Yeah.
It is heads. So
Damn it.
Yeah, sorry.
I would pick first.
I'll choose to. I think that in this when we do these formats, the person can choose whether to choose first or last. But
yes. Do you want a snake draft?
let's do it snake. I think that's a fair.
So
fair.
you choose one, I choose two, or if you want to do the other way, I get the first pick.
Oh, that's true.
Whatever,
All right, I'll give you the first pick.
Okay.
For this.
I haven't put much thought into this at all.
Me either. So this is fun.
So. I'm gonna start out with
now. Let's remember too, that we're drafting this for real, as if this is real world football. So we're not drafting fantasy style, but it depends. Of course, it depends on how you want to approach it. Your team building.
Right. Well, I want to make sure that I get the best player that I can.
Sure.
For a certain position.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that the best kicker in this competition is going to be Captain Falcon.
Really? Okay.
I would have to choose Captain Falcon
for the kicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has this great knee move. Like, he's known for the Falcon Paunch, but he's got this great like knee move that just absolutely destroys people, and he could extend that to his foot, get that ball going all the way the fuck to who knows where. So I'm going to start out with a kicker, which is not what you should do in fantasy football drafts. Jesus Christ, if you do.
And in drafts generally, I mean.
In drafts generally. Look at Robert Aguayo.
There is a danger to that.
Yes. But in this case, I want the best kicker. I'm choosing Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a lot. Kickers are relied on to win games. So I you know what? In a way, I kind of get it. I kind of understand on that front. For me, I have to pick my quarterback of the future, and man, the hard part about this exercise is that I know about the characters generally, but I don't really play a lot of Smash. Matt does, and so I have a little bit of a disadvantage on this front. With that said, in terms of, I would have to think of a character that throws and or is known for throwing things. And I think I'm trying to remember correctly. If this is correct, I believe this character throws like boomerang type stuff, and other things. For my quarterback, I'm picking Pitt as my quarterback. And the thing is too, he has the ability to really dodge people with his wings, and he also has, I think he is shorter. He's on the shorter side, which I know everyone likes a tall quarterback, but I think in the new age, with shorter quarterbacks are the way to go, because not only are they good at throwing the ball, but they can also run the ball pretty easily as well. And
get out of the way.
Yeah. So I'm going to go...
Unless you're Kyler Murray and can't get out of the way of your own lineman.
Yeah. Oh my god. Or the offensive lineman tackles you. Like, it's really weird.
Yeah.
No, I'm going with Pitt. I feel like he's going to be my go-to guy on this to quarterback the New York Bozos. So there you go. All right.
I like the pick.
Okay.
I'm going to go next. With someone.
Oh wait, no, it's a snake draft. Remember?
It's a snake draft.
I have to. I just remembered. I completely forgot for a second.
Good thing you caught on to that.
Yes, and I'm picking the best defensive player in the draft, the person that's gonna take down everyone. I am so sorry, Mr. Matt. I'm taking a Cineroar for my defensive player.
Okay.
I just think that he has the ability just to knock people around, and Cineroar is a wrestler, you know, and
right.
So he's big, bulky, and it's just gonna knock over offenses. So
how often is he gonna get flagged though?
Yeah, that's true. He has to be wary. The refs are going to be on him a lot.
Incineroar is a heel.
Oh, that's true.
Like,
that's true.
When it comes to wrestling terms.
But you know what? I feel like he just fits the Bozo name then, because I think that then he's just a bad guy by design, and
he's got that big goofy smile.
Absolutely, yeah.
I could go on and on about why Incineroar is one of my favorite Pokemon designs ever.
Yeah, no,
but I won't do that.
I feel bad for taking him, but in the same time, I need to shore up my defense, and I just think that Incineroar is going to just wreak havoc. So there you go. All right, now you got 2 picks.
Now I get 2 picks. Okay, I'm going to go with a little bit of an obscure choice for my wide receiver this time.
Okay.
Someone who has the ability to grab things from an insanely long distance away.
Okay.
I'm going to choose Isabel.
I kind of thought about it for a second. I was like, oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, so Isabel, she has that fishing pole of hers. No matter how high the ball is in the air, that fishing pole can just quickly just whoop, get the ball away.
Yeah.
And be a nice asset to the team.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of who is throwing the ball to Isabel, that's something that I will decide on my next turn. But for this one, I'm actually going to choose my defense right now as well.
Okay.
And I got to go with the king, Bowser himself.
Oh, I swear I thought you were going to go Kid K. Rool there when you said King.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
They're all kings.
Yes.
But like Bowser's got a shell. He's going to be hard to actually move out of the way. He's got a great grab that will probably get called holding a lot. But
yeah, for sure. Or
and unnecessary roughness for grabbing them, picking them up, and slamming them into the ground.
Very much so. Yeah.
But Smash Football knows what they got into.
Sure. And, well, but I think that if you're looking at the scouting report for Bowser, though, are we worried at all about his speed?
See, that's the thing. Bowser's actually got some speed for him.
Okay, fair enough.
Not in Brawl. But in Smash Ultimate.
Oh, the Ultimate, right? Yes, we're in the Ultimate universe, so that's
and he's got a dash. He's got fire.
Yeah,
he can make some plays, and he's going to be hard to move. So he's more of a defensive lineman, I believe.
Yeah.
To stop the running back and try to get the quarterback, but still a good pick. So I'm happy to have Bowser on my defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go with wide receiver next, and this is a weird one because you would think there's another position that fits this character more, but hear me out on this. I'm taking Sonic for my wide receiver.
Okay, I was kind of considering that myself
because the reason why for wide receiver, running back is much more bulkier and is a lot more trying to run between the tackles and running down the field. Wide receiver needs that speed, and Sonic has that speed, and he has the gloves that he's gonna catch with, and he's gonna just zoom past people, and he's gonna run into the end zone. And I think that he's just a perfect weapon for Pitt's offense. Oh, it's something we should also consider. We could do it at the end of is picking a head coach here, because I think that's gonna be that'll be interesting. But anyways, so I'm going Sonic for my wide receiver on that front. For running back, man,
you have running back and kicker left.
I know. I have to. I had to think about this because there's a lot of interesting options to choose from. For do I dare do running back last? I mean that's the thing. Like I don't want to. It's another crucial weapon.
It is.
Yeah. For this.
There's also 75 people to choose from, and I can only choose 2 between now and.
That's very. You know what? That is very very. I get that. I get that a lot. Oh man, you know what? I think I'm gonna go for, in terms of my running back. I'm gonna go Donkey Kong. Weirdly enough, because I feel like Donkey Kong just has the power to push defenders out of the way. And I think that he has those, like, the hands of just a fatherly figure that he would just hold on to that football, and he's not going to let it go, and he's going to run, and he's going to make sure he gets into the end zone. So I know that's such a weird choice, but I like Donkey Kong as a running back on that front. As a big offensive weapon. He might double as a tight end, honestly, a little bit, and maybe even as an offensive lineman. So I guess fullback a little bit, but I like him I'll put him as my running back for now.
Okay, for my quarterback, I'm gonna go with someone who has experience throwing things in their main series games.
Okay.
There's a couple personalities that I think that could apply to.
Yeah.
But I got to think about team composition, right?
Sure.
I got to think about the teams the team that is around me. So I have Isabel as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And Isabel is going to take mainly projectiles from the air. And I actually don't know if this is a mechanic or not, whether or not she can actually take these. But I'm going to go with Yoshi as my quarterback. Yoshi throws his eggs. That's part of his fighting style. That's like part of Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Like, he throws his eggs as part of it. Yeah. And you know what else? He can lay more eggs, throw them as more footballs, score more points. So I'm going to go with Yoshi as my quarterback.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's good logic. I like it a lot. I always say, like, I always try to, like, find a better term than football, because football was already taken by our Western European allies, or used to be allies.
Egg ball.
But I used to say eyeball or egg ball.
Egg ball.
So egg ball.
Foot egg.
Foot egg. So truly, Yoshi is embracing foot egg at this point.
Yoshi is embracing foot egg
to the full extent.
Yes.
So I love it. All right. So and what about your running back?
Running back's going to be a little bit harder.
Running back was so hard for me. I really was scrambling there.
You know what? I'm gonna pull another weird one.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with Wario.
Okay.
Only because, well, he has this charging move.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, definitely.
Well, no, that's in Project M. Never mind. He can fart, and the defenders will not want to be around him. He also has a.
He's just gonna stop Incineroar right there. He's like, oh god, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, Incineroar's a wrestler. He's probably used to being around smelly people.
Yeah, that's a nice image.
But Wario has his Wario bike, and he can just ride his bike through the D line.
Yeah, certainly.
So I'm gonna go with Wario.
Yeah,
if he does get a break, then he just rides his bike to the end zone. Yeah,
there you go. End of story right there. Last one, kicker, and I'm just doing this based off aesthetics alone. I want Bayonetta as my kicker.
Oh my god,
for
yes.
For the York Bozos. I just think that I just, like, picture her as a, like, we all know Carly Lloyd would be an excellent NFL kicker. Bayonetta, you just look at Bayonetta, you're like, she's gonna be a good football kicker as well. So I'm going with Bayonetta on this one. I think that she will absolutely annihilate the competition, and I think that she's would be good at, like, just faking people out as well, and doing, like, if you had to do, like, a fake field goal, like, I think that she could throw the ball, or you never know. So I think it will work out great. So that's my team, and so that's the New York Bozos, which consists of quarterback Pitt, running back Donkey Kong, wide receiver Sonic, defensive player Incineroar, and kicker Bayonetta.
All right, and I have the Golden Griffins, which is quarterback Yoshi, running back Wario, wide receiver Isabel, defense Bowser, and kicker Captain Falcon. We're going to throw a poll up on Twitter, have people vote on which one of us drafted the better team.
Yeah, we'll make sure to include all of this information on Twitter. Maybe probably, like, within a few hours of the podcast going out, or I might forget it. So it might go up on, like, Thursday or something. But we'll see. I'll try to get it up as soon as possible. But yeah, I love that. I really want to do more of those. I think that
I would love to do more of those.
There's a lot of video games worlds to explore. But I thought we'd start off on an easy foot with Ultimate. So there you go. All right. We're picking games, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving on to week 2 of the NFL season. And Mr. Match, why don't you get us started with the first Thursday Night Football matchup in terms of recapping it?
So our first Thursday Night Football matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to North Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers, of course, they represent both North and South Carolina, but they're specifically located in North Carolina.
Wow, all right. I mean, I guess it's
Last
so early.
Week, the Buccaneers struggled to take down the San Francisco 49ers, despite a relatively favorable matchup, I feel. And Jameis looked like trash, whereas the Carolina Panthers also kind of looked like trash, except on the back of Christian McCaffrey, almost beat the Rams.
Yeah.
So, one of these teams hasn't shown anything. One of these teams has shown most things. Who's going to come out on top?
Yeah, I liked how it was almost going to end at talking about the Carolina Panthers in North Carolina. Like, that was all we learned. That's all we know thus far. But I gotta say, for those in North Carolina, first of all, prayers out to everyone that was affected by the Hurricane Dorian. Didn't mean to bring that down, but I kind of just realized that that whole area was kind of hit hard by it. So prayers to everyone down there, especially in the Bahamas as well. Now, in terms of this game, the Carolina Panthers, I like them, and I think it was an ugly game, yes, but I think it could have really come down to it was week one. I think that you could make the argument down the stretch that this would be that was two powerhouses going at each other, and just one came out on top, and so I think the Panthers are still a powerhouse. I think that they have a lot to like. I have a lot to like about this team, and I was very low on them early on in the offseason, but over time they've just started to look much, much better to me, and I think that they're going to prove it again. I'm picking the Panthers.
Same here. I can't not go against my team in this matchup, especially when they're looking as good as they are.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. I also think it was funny that they mentioned they were going to try to limit Christian McCaffrey's workload, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we don't have anyone else."
Yeah, no, there's not really much behind him.
No one else is playing well right now.
Yeah, McCaffrey is just he's gonna. I think that the fact that he's really moving into like top running back status, which is really neat. Yeah. So next up, the Buffalo Bills will be going to the New York Giants to going to New York to take on the Giants. Wow, I see a tired mind. It's not really functioning well today. But I've actually been waiting for this particular matchup. I said to my back when in 2015 when I was more of a fan of the Bills, I was like, I'm going to that matchup when it comes to New York because I want to see the Bills play the Giants because I think the colors would be interesting, whatever. Now I'm like, whatever. I don't fucking care. But. Hey, the Bills coming off a great comeback win against the Jets could maybe see something interesting happen for them. They certainly have the talent on defense, and John Brown came out of nowhere as a great wide receiver for the Bills. Giants really got crushed poorly by the Cowboys. Manning showed some nice throws in the beginning, but just was not great. The defense was just abysmal. Will things turn around for the Giants, or will the Bills keep on the win column?
I'm still not super high on the Bills. They had a really, really nice comeback with Josh Allen and John Brown.
Yeah.
But the Giants, dude, come on. They look so bad.
Yeah, they're rough. It's rough.
Other than Saquon and Evan Ingram, there's nothing to this team.
Yeah.
And I don't have confidence picking them to win football games. So even though I don't have a lot of confidence in the Bills, I have even less in the Giants. So I'm going Bills.
I really like the Bills. I know that he had an awful start to the game last week, but Josh Allen, I think that he's starting to get there. He just needs to have better control of the ball. I like Devin Singletary a lot. He showed some promise in that game. The weapons are looking a little bit better after last week for the Bills, but I'm not still sold on that. Defense, I think, is good, and I know they were 6 down, 16-0, but they still held the Jets off from scoring almost any more points beyond 16, and it was just a very nice showing overall on the defensive side. So I'm going Bills. I trust the Bills more overall as a team, so going on that front.
All right. Next up is the San Francisco 49ers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Both of these teams had a surprising outing last week where the 49ers showed Jameis who the boss is and intercepted him, I believe, twice, pick-sixed him twice.
They intercepted him 3 times, pick-sixed him twice.
Okay, so there you go. They made a fool out of him. The Bengals almost upset Seattle in what I thought was one of the clearest victories of the week. The Bengals surprised a lot of people. I don't know if that was Seattle's defense or if it actually was the Bengals getting their shit together and having new life under a non-Marvin Lewis head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it did look like a much more complete team. Weirdly, the Bengals. Over the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they came out with the win. I do think the Seahawks are a much more talented team than the Bengals, but my goodness, to go into Seattle and almost pull off something like that, especially in the condition that we thought the Bengals were in, it definitely surprised me. I don't have much faith in this Niners team. I think that their defense it did its job. It certainly had a great outing in some regard, but I don't know how much of that is the Buccaneers' incompetence or how much is that them actually developing. I think the defense is good for the Niners, but I think at home the Bengals they're looking decent, and I'm willing to put enough chips in to call them my Team Chaos this week.
Yeah, me too. Week 2 I think is always the hardest. The early weeks that aren't week 1 are always the hardest when it comes to Team Chaos.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
because you just don't know.
Yeah,
you have so little information to go off of.
Yeah.
So as a result, I'm gonna hoo-day with the Bengals and also give them my Team Chaos.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with putting my chips in this because I think that they looked pretty good, and there's really not much other logic to that outside of that. I think that the Bengals are they seem like more ready to beat someone. I think the Niners had a sloppy game kind of on the offensive side of the ball where I think I'm kind of pretty confident in the Bengals to win that. Next up, the Cowboys going to Washington to take on the Redskins, and this is as lopsided an affair as you could look at on paper. But we said that about the Eagles and Redskins last week, and the Redskins were up kind of big early on before the Eagles came roaring back and ultimately beat them pretty handily. But now they go against the Cowboys, which looked like the Rams last week against the Giants. And Kellen Moore is the secret weapon that the Cowboys have been waiting for. Not Ezekiel Elliott, not Dak Prescott. They had. Don't get me wrong. Dak had an amazing game and deserves a contract at some point. So, and Elliott did his job, but Kellen Moore, man, my goodness, will Kellen Moore beat this Washington team, or will Washington come on top of the boys?
I don't think that's going to happen. The Cowboys looked really good. They demolished the Giants. Washington almost they put up points on Philly.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be enough against Dallas though.
Mm-hmm.
With how dominant they are even at home. The Washington, you know what? Washington isn't going to be the team I shit on relentlessly for the season, just because it's the team I shit on relentlessly.
Anyway,
all the time.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of just how it works.
That's just how it works. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. They're a really strong team on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and like I said, I my faith is in the Pizza Boy, offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. I'm going with the Cowboys as well.
Yes.
Next up.
Next up is
we have to get that go back and forth down.
Yeah, no. I saw some breaking news that I'll talk about when we get to the New
England
Patriots.
NFL?
Yes.
Okay, I'll look and you continue with your recap.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you what to search.
I will find it on my. I have a list. Don't worry, you're good.
Okay. Okay. The Los Angeles Chargers travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. Los Angeles Chargers defeated the Colts in overtime, a much improved Colts team than most people I think were expecting, except for Chris, who was expecting good things.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Chargers are pretty dominant. The Detroit Lions lost the lead to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
And tied. There's no hope for Detroit. I know you usually give your thing here, but I'm going Chargers.
Okay, that's fine. I think that first of all, I mean, I'll talk about the Colts. I still have faith in the Colts.
Me too.
Yeah.
At this point, I do now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they put up quite the fight. But referring back to the Chargers, I think that they put up more fight than I initially thought as well. Because I legit did think the Colts could win that, and they almost did. But Chargers got the ball in overtime and won. And they played great with the running backs that they have. Austin Eckler is an excellent weapon for them. And even without Derwin James, the defense didn't let go of a lot of points. So that I would be concerned about. But me too. I'm going with the Chargers.
All right.
For next up, the Minnesota Vikings against the Green Bay Packers. Another divisional game for the Packers. This time they are at home for this one. Packers did not show much on the offensive side of the ball, but showed a lot on the defensive side, while the Vikings just all around completely tore down the Atlanta Falcons institution. So, with that being said, Mr. Matt, what do you think?
Jeez, I don't know if this is recency bias or not, but the Packers bar is higher. In terms of who's picked the Packers so far over the Vikings, I don't get it. The Vikings destroyed the Falcons, who I still think are a good team.
I thought you meant when you said bar is higher. I didn't think you meant the ESPN pigskin pick him.
Oh,
I for some reason I was thinking like, wait, is he actually gonna pick the Packers? The Bears fans picking the Packers?
No, of course not. I'm picking the Vikings because the Vikings are a good team. Dalvin Cook, if he stays healthy, he could also like be the upper echelon of running backs.
Yeah.
I honestly think he is. He just needs to stay healthy and play a full season, and I'll put him there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously it's the Bears' defense, but if the Bears are a 10 out of 10, the Vikings are an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Packers are going to do much for them. Obviously, the Packers are at home, which helps them out a little bit.
Sure.
But I don't think it's going to be enough against the Vikings, so I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Yeah. It wouldn't make much sense if it was recency bias because the Vikings did play sooner, or later rather.
Yeah.
But maybe it's cheesy bias. I'm not too sure. With the Packers, but I gotta go with the Vikings. I think that they showed more. I'll be honest. If this was a primetime game, I might have picked the Packers, but I'm just going with my gut on this one, and I just think the Vikings have just shown it on both sides of the ball how dominant they could be, completely shutting down what we thought, at least, was a really good Falcons offense no matter what, even if they do have offensive line problems at the moment. And they completely, I think that they showed that it could be one of the strongest offenses in 2019, so I'm going with the Vikings, and I feel very strongly about this.
Oh, yeah.
Very strongly. I mean, you know what? I did have another one in mind. I'm gonna change this to my guarantee. I'm guaranteeing the Vikings over the Packers. I may regret that completely, but I'm switching. I'm going with the Vikings because I feel that good that they're gonna beat the Packers. This
is just a quick aside.
Yes.
The relationships between NFC North people and their rivals are really interesting to me. Because me as a Bears fan, I hate the fucking Packers.
Yeah.
With a passion.
Surely.
The Lions are so irrelevant they don't even matter right now.
Yeah.
But they suck too. I don't hate the Vikings.
Yeah.
Like, obviously head to head, I'm going Bears, no question. But in a neutral situation, I like to pick the Vikings just because I think they're a cool team, and I like the underdog, the kind of underdogness that they have to them.
Certainly.
Meanwhile, I have a Vikings fan coworker who hates the Bears but thinks the Packers are okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'm kind of the same way. Weirdly enough, with the Eagles, like in terms of the Giants, because the Eagles are like the biggest rival of the Giants, like even more than the Cowboys. But I don't mind the Eagles. I think that I like them as an underdog team compared to the other two teams. So yeah, I'm in the same boat with you in that front.
Yeah.
But
just
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
and hashtag NFC North fans.
Yeah, I like all the NFC North teams in a weird way. Like, you know, I think the Lions give me a bore sometimes, but like I like that.
I think Matt Patricia is a bad head coach, but that's beside the point.
Certainly, I mean I think that in terms of just the franchise, I would like to see the Lions succeed one day.
Yeah,
that's just me. Okay, you're next for the recap, I think.
I am next. Indianapolis Colts go to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. The Indianapolis Colts played much better than we expected.
Yeah.
Than I expected, I should say. Chris, you really like the Colts this year.
Yes.
But the Titans put up monster success against the Browns,
yes,
something
indeed.
that I don't think anyone expected.
No.
So, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
I love the way Jacoby Brissett played out of the gate last week. I think that he didn't really have a bad game at all. I think he played really well given the talent that was around him. I think that the team was slow to score points out of the gate on the offensive side, but I think overall he played well. My concern is the defense a little bit. I think they gave up a lot of points to the Chargers and kind of let the Chargers score essentially at the end of that game. And I just look at the Titans right now. they're at home. Like I'm looking at them right now, and I like them a lot more right now than I did probably ever. I mean, I think this
it's
is
a
really
good ass defense that the Titans have. I think
at the very least, I think the Titans defense is for real. I think that I can lock in as like that's for real. The Titans offense, that's still iffy, but
still a lot of question marks, but showed some potential.
Yes, I like the Titans
beyond the Derrick Henry monster performances.
Yeah, definitely. What about you? What do you think?
I'm also going with the Titans.
Yep.
I can't. They're going to be my team that I'm never going to predict right this year. But
fair.
I'm gonna go with them in this case.
Yeah.
They're really well rounded, and I think that defense is going to be able to stop the Colts offense.
Yeah, in our past iterations of our podcast, at the end we usually kind of see, who's the least predictable, and I think it was close nearly 2 years for 2 years running. It felt like the Titans were just
it's always the Titans though,
that elusive team that just constantly we would be like, okay, they're gonna win this game, and then they lose it, and they're like, oh well, yeah, it's the Titans, not gonna win, and then they do.
You've raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly, sir.
Yeah, it is incredible, but I'm rooting for the Titans to win this game. I like the Colts a lot. Trust me, I want them to not be 0-2, but Titans look good. Next up, the Patriots. Oh, the Patriots. We do have some breaking news on that front.
Did you happen to read the breaking news?
I kind of skimmed it. So as far as we understand, and this is past news for a lot of people who are probably listening to this now.
Listening to this on Wednesday. This kind of broke as we were recording.
Yeah, so could you do the honors of actually just saying what it is? Right,
yeah, so Antonio Brown was accused of sexual assault by his former trainer.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
That
obviously he's denying the allegations, but that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
You got to believe survivors. Obviously there's more information that needs to come out, and it's wrong to make a 100% definitive conclusion, but I'm on the side of the survivor. Not to make this not to turn this podcast into this direction, but
yeah,
Antonio Brown is one of the most famous football players.
Yep.
No one is stupid enough to come out and say this unless it were true.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. It's a really tough situation. I will review everything once we get off the show, but I mean, it's just, I mean, to be fair, the last time we filmed, Antonio Brown was still a Raider. I mean, so a lot has happened. A lot has transpired.
We didn't even talk about the fact that he's a Patriot now. And
we even missed the fact that he confronted Mike Mayock in his office. Like that much time has gone by between the fact that when we last recorded and now. So, a lot to take in. I really hope. I was on the side of, you know what, the fact that the Patriots signed him. I know that everyone's upset that, integrity of the game, whatever, but I think it's fine that they signed him. I hate it that they are going to, probably do really well with him, but whatever, that they felt like they could do what they want with him, and that's fine. I have no problems with that. Now, I don't know why you would keep this guy on your team. I know you just signed him. I don't think it's a very comfortable situation for you to keep him on your roster at this point. Even like we obviously have to see how this all plays out, certainly, but I just think for optics and for just how, especially with how the NFL has completely botched a lot of these investigations in the past, you gotta get rid of him.
You have to.
Yeah.
Someone like this should not be playing football. You don't want this to be the representation of your league. And by letting someone, and I don't care about the theatrics. Obviously, it's bad for the locker room, bad for the just for the image of all that he was doing to get himself released by the Raiders.
Certainly.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But that's just being a fucking weirdo. But this is a serious thing that I really hope the NFL considers to investigate.
Yep.
But probably won't because they suck.
Yeah, it's rough. Let's
Patriots.
Patriots.
Patriots are gonna win.
Yeah, Patriots are gonna win. Yeah, we're not even gonna look at the game at this point. Patriots are gonna win. Your go.
I'm next.
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals travel to Baltimore to the Baltimore Ravens. The Cardinals probably would beat the Baltimore Orioles, but are not facing that team. Instead, they had a very impressive comeback against the Lions, but I also don't think the Lions are a good team, and especially with Baltimore running what it did against Miami at home, Arizona's going to be in big trouble. What do you think?
I mean, I think this could be a fun game. I think that Kyler Murray started to get used to his offense down the stretch, and he looked good. I mean, I think that you're willing to say that he looked good, but I think you look at the Ravens and just think that the way they performed in Miami, I don't think was an aberration. I think maybe the amount of points on the board was an aberration a little bit, but I think the play style, the way that the team played as a unit, was excellent, and I think that they will put up a fight. I think they'll play really well. I think it's going to be closer than some may think, but I think the Ravens are a much better team, so I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I am also going with the Ravens. Honestly, Lamar Jackson showed that he can actually pass the football.
Yeah,
and add that onto his running. He's going to be a extremely fun player to watch this year, and I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just as a fantasy owner of him.
Yeah, no,
but
I
also want to say,
yeah,
around week 5 last season, I proposed a trade where I would give up Lamar Jackson for Blake Bortles.
Oh,
I am so glad that trade was denied. Holy shit.
Oh my god, wow. My goodness, Matt, what are you doing, my friend?
Because Lamar Jackson wasn't doing anything.
I know.
And I thought the Jaguars were still good because they were 3-1 at that point.
You gotta, that's a tough one. At least you have unlocked the cold take, and we fleshed it out, and now you have repented for your sins.
I needed someone to back up Russell Wilson, because the only other two quarterbacks I had were Josh Rosen and Lamar Jackson. Neither of them were starting yet, and I didn't want to get to Wilson's bye week and have to start Case Keenum.
Yeah.
And then Rosen actually started. I was like, oh, okay, but I traded Rosen for Andy Dalton, then I put Andy Dalton in, and then Jackson started, and Jackson was great.
Shh, it's okay. It's okay.
Let's go Ravens.
You're in a safe spot next.
Next matchup.
Seahawks going to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. I think this matchup could be a lot of fun. Will the Steelers blow out? Will that be an aberration? Will they actually be the good team that we thought they were going into the season? They're at home. Luckily, that helps them. Will the Seahawks kind of recover from their kind of slowish start, even though they got the win? Will they recover from week 1 as well? What do you think, Go Cubs?
Bold of you to assume I think the Steelers are a good team.
Yeah, maybe.
That being said, though, the Seahawks almost lost to the Bengals.
Yeah.
Which is really bad, especially at home.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if it was the Bengals or the Seahawks. This is probably the hardest game for me to choose.
Certainly.
Just because I don't know what the truth is for either of these teams.
Yeah, that's fair.
After week 1.
Yeah.
That being said, I think I'm going to go with the Steelers just for that home advantage, and I do still think the Steelers are better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
If the Steelers lose the division, though, I will be very happy.
Certainly. I'm gonna go with the Steelers as well. I look at the Seahawks, and I do think that they can be a good team. I think that they have. I just think that though it was a little bit concerning how good Andy Dalton's offense looked against that defense, and I think that the offense was kind of overwhelmed by a Bengals defense that actually existed. And again, I mean, maybe the Bengals are just a good team and we didn't know. But I'm gonna go towards the Steelers at this point because I think that after a loss like that, I think you adjust, and I think that at home you can get the job done. And I still have faith in the Steelers that they're a good team this year, so I'm going with them.
All right.
On that front. Next up,
we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans just taking part in probably the game of the week. Fantastic back and forth game. Deshaun Watson is an animal. And they'll be facing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are starting Gardner Minshew, the named wonder. That is really hard to say. I don't understand. How do you think the matchup is going to go? Both teams lose, but both teams put up a fight.
Yeah, I think that the Texans are looking really good. I mean, I think right now there's people who are pegging them as the AFC South favorite. And I think that they have good reason to think that right now. J.J. Watt needs to put up a better game, I think, but I think part of that was just because he was double teamed a lot against the Saints. And I don't think that the Jaguars have that offensive line enough to really stop J.J. Watt this time. So I think that the Texans, their defense gets to Gardner Minshew in his first full game. I think that Deshaun Watson continues to play lights out. I am a little concerned about this offensive line against the Jaguars defense, but then again, the Jaguars defense allowed a lot of points last week. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
Yeah. I'm also going to go with the Texans. I'm so confident that the Texans are going to win. I'm going to lock them up.
Yes, guarantee it.
Guarantee the Texans to win this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a very strong argument. Hey, if Gardner Minshew though has a game of his life and they beat the Texans, oh boy, will people be on that hype train? And
the think pieces.
Pieces.
Every Jacksonville fan will grow a mustache.
It's good. Yes.
Even the people who can't biologically grow mustaches.
They will figure out a way. They will always find a way. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs go to Raiders. They go to Oakland to take on the Black Hole. I mean, that's their fan base. But
poor name choice.
The Raiders played surprisingly well on Monday night. They played very well, and there's reason to believe that this team could be decent this year, just because look at the fact that they took on a Vic Fangio-led defense, completely, even with backups on their offensive line, completely shut down Miller and Chubb. And their offense was moving the ball down the field and was doing a good job at it. And Josh Jacobs had his good debut, and it seems to be working well for them. Did not think that they missed Antonio Brown at all. But you still have the Chiefs, you still have Patrick Mahomes. That team is still a very tough team to face. And what do you think is going to happen in this one, Mr.
I still think the Chiefs are the team to beat this season.
Yeah.
Raiders played well, but the Broncos played so bad. So
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a question. I think the Chiefs take this one handily.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Chiefs just because I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes right now. I can't do it. He got a little hurt against the Jaguars, but I think that he'll bounce back from it, and he did, and he played well. So I don't see him slowing down. I still have faith that this Chiefs team is gonna handle business. One of the best uniformed matchups as well that we'll be seeing.
I agree with that.
It's very nice. It's a very
very bright versus the very dull.
Yeah, very very cool. I'm very excited about that. Next up,
the Orange and Blue take on the Blue and Orange. Chicago Bears visit Denver to see what they can do. Vic Fangio revenge game, if you want to call it that.
Certainly.
And both teams lost, but I do think that some brighter future is ahead for one of these teams. What do you think, Chris?
I was saying to this before. I felt like going into this week, I was like, man, the Broncos, they might upset the Bears. Like I said, I think there's a chance they could do that with the Bears offense not playing up to snuff, and their Broncos are at home. They play well at home usually. That the home field advantage is strong. And then they showed up on Monday night and just completely laid an egg. And maybe it was the fact that they were on the road, but Joe Flacco did not look good. The offensive weapons like Phillip Lindsay and the wide receivers, they just none of them played great. The offensive line got beat up. And I think the defense will certainly keep the Bears in check. I could see this being a low-scoring game overall, but
oh yeah, bet the under.
I would say that my faith is still with the Bears and the Bears defense, because I think that they could wreak havoc and do a good job. I have faith in the Bears still. I'm going on that front.
I'm also going with the Bears. I can't go against them. As poor as they played last week, I still have faith in the team. It's not time to hit the panic button. And there's still a lot that they can do. Their offense just needs to get back in sync. 3 out of the next 4 games, I think, are going to be fairly easy for us to do that.
Yeah, and Vic Fangio, and I think he's a great coach, but this is the first time he's trying to run the defense from the sidelines and not from the booth. It kind of showed on Monday night, and I don't know if they're going to try to adjust that or figure out a way to adjust that or not. But we'll see. The NFC Championship rematch is here. The Saints, God, I wish the Saints were hosting this game, but no, they'll be going to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Saints probably should have been our NFC representatives in the Super Bowl, but it didn't turn out that way, and now these two teams will meet again, and it'll be a big indicator of who could make another run at it. What do you think, Matt?
I still think it's a little too early to tell if these two teams will make a run for it. But
sure.
The Saints played probably in the game of the week last week, and the Rams almost lost to the Panthers. I still think the Panthers are good, but in terms of just overall team play, I think that the Saints have the edge here. Even though the Rams do a little bit better at home, I still really like the Saints in this matchup.
Yeah. At first it seemed like we were never going to disagree this week, but now I am going to deter. I'm going to go with the Rams, and I have been a Saints ride or die guy for a while. Look, Breeze played well on Monday, but there is still like this part of me that feels like he could be playing better than he really is. And I think his age is slowly starting to get there. We saw it near the end of last season, and on Monday, again, he had some really spectacular moments. He knows how to win a game, and I think the Saints can absolutely win this game, no question about it. They have the talent, but I think the Rams, in their second week at home, I think they're going to get the job done, and hopefully a penalty is not what's going to grant the Rams the win this time. So I'm going with the Rams.
True. Okay. Philadelphia Eagles take on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Philadelphia had an embarrassing start to the game that they then had a very impressive coming back to. Carson Wentz was on fire.
Yep.
Where the Falcons got shut down in every metric to the Vikings. What do you think is going to happen this week?
Yeah, I think that both had the slow starts. Only one of them kind of came out of that slow start. And I think that the Eagles, despite being on the road, I still think that they're one of the more complete teams in the NFC. And I think the Falcons have a lot of questions on pretty much everywhere at this point. And I just don't know if they're ready for an opponent like this. So I'm going to go Eagles. That's a strong pick for me, I think. I think I don't see the Falcons coming out of this.
Yeah, I still see a lot of potential in the Falcons and still think that they can pull this out. But the Eagles are just so good this year.
Yeah.
And I think that they're, even on the road, they're going to succeed. You'll have to excuse me for, 3 seconds because my dog is whining because she can't get past this, 6-inch high thing on the ground that is impeding her from leaving this area.
Okay. I will. All right. So
I'm making fun of you on a podcast. How does that make you feel?
in the meantime, let's go to.
Oh God, sorry.
Let's go to the dog pound, and let's talk about the Browns, which will actually be going to New York. The Browns will be taking on the New York Jets, and the Browns and Jets both had tough losses. Browns got completely blown out by the Titans. Really rough game. The Jets had an early lead, but completely blew it. The Jets very much emulated the Mets in that first game, and so I think that I think that this is going to be an interesting game, and you don't want to fall to 0-2, and this is going to be a huge game. Are you back, Matt? Are you able to do it?
I am, yes.
Okay, all right. So what do
I
you
had
think's
to
gonna happen?
listen. There's like it was like the counterweight to a punching bag that it was just on the floor. It's 6 inches tall, and there was a vacuum cleaner next to it. So I moved the vacuum cleaner for her to go around, and
The biggest obstacles.
She goes over the punching bag thing
Okay.
that she could have just done in the first place.
Just animals, man. You gotta structure your world around them, unfortunately.
So in this game, the vacuum cleaner is the. No, I'm not going to use that analogy. I can't think how to put it in.
All right. I mean, you could just say who's because I'm wearing who's
Right.
getting the vacuum cleaner in that sense.
Well, I feel like the Cleveland Browns are going to move the vacuum cleaner out of the way for themselves.
Yeah.
But then go over the very easy thing to win. That didn't make any sense. I'm picking the Browns. I still think they have an overall better team.
Yeah.
I love Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
But I think the Browns will take it here. A reminiscent Monday Night Football from last season.
Not only that, well, that was Thursday Night Football.
That was Thursday Night Football. But still a matchup where Baker Mayfield got his start.
Yes, and so he kind of returned to the team that kind of started his NFL career in a way. This was the first ever Monday Night Football game matchup between the Browns and the Jets. So
Really?
it's very, very fitting that this is the Monday Night Football game. I thought it was going to be a Week 1 matchup, then they were like, Week 2, and I'm like, whatever, fuck off. So the Browns, I think, are going to win this game. I still think that they're the most talented team on the field, and I do think that they're one of the more talented teams in the NFL. It was just a really, really, really rough Week 1. I think they'll adjust, and hopefully their offensive line issues can clear up and they won't have as many penalties. So I'm going with the Browns as well.
Cool.
So
we deferred once.
in the non-team chaos way, because we both picked the same team chaos in the Cincinnati Bengals. I locked up the Vikings, and you guaranteed the Texans.
I think you have a more ballsy lock.
Yeah. Just because against Aaron Rodgers, I know, but
yeah,
I think because here's the thing: the Packers have that 1-0. I think they need to get that. They'll get that lost. I don't think the Packers start 2-0. I think that's a tough one to. I think the Packers they played too poorly on offense for me to have faith in them right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And they need some time to adjust still. So, I think that kind of covers it all. So, anyways, we have a Twitter that I'm trying to use a little bit as frequently as possible to promote the podcast at Virtual Cowboys.
Be sure to vote on there whose team you think is better.
Yes, that's correct. That will be happening as well. Make sure to follow at Team Chaos Pods as well. You'll hear this at the end of the during our credits as well. But
yes,
because I know that there are some videos that are in the works by some of our other members, and that you'll be sure to make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, which I believe is linked on our Twitter potentially. I don't know. We'll
if it's not, it will be.
It will be eventually. Once the video is up there, that's not just our podcast, then it will go up there. It is linked in the first. I think in our first podcast. Like it's up on YouTube. I think Team Chaos Productions actually tweeted it out that the YouTube link is there. So.
Yes.
Subscribe to that. Keep up on that front. Is there any other things that we want to shout out real quick?
I don't believe so. I could shout out a podcast that just started by some friends of mine.
That's true.
The Super Nuclear Group just started their Oban Star Racer podcast, so if you're interested in French cartoons from the mid-2000s, go check that out. They also have a fully completed one of Code Lyoko, which is how I got into them. I also wrote the music for both of those, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Good friends of the show. Good friends of me.
Yeah.
not the rest of us.
Yeah, well, no, but and it's worth noting. I feel like we need to keep on. Like, I want to keep on giving credit where credit is due. Matt has done the music for everything that we've done thus far, or at least just the Virtual Ball Boys. But we'll be doing music for a lot of the products that we do for Team Chaos Prod Productions as well. And so I thank you for creating the theme to this.
Yes, of course.
Theme and the outro for this show. And again, shout out to Walsh Animation, who
you can find my music Twitter at Havana_music.
Yes, so we'll make sure to tag that as well. That's like the where you can follow him at Havana_Matt. Or music rather, not Matt.
Yep.
_music. And you can follow me at Fluffy Cloud Gamer, which is GMR at the end. So Fluffy Cloud GMR, no spaces in between there. I tweet a lot about football and life, so you'll enjoy that. And again, Walsh Animation at Walsh Animation, he's not only done the podcast art but he's done the Team Chaos Prod logo, and he created this amazing banner. Please, if you have not seen it, please go to our Team Chaos Prod Twitter, because it is incredible. The more you look at it, the more things you find, and I thank him so much for taking up such a big task in terms of handling that art. It's doing
it so well.
He's just did an incredible job on it. And he'll be part of us. Of course, there's also Gabe, who's been a big part of us creating this channel, and he'll be doing. I know that he's trying to do some weird animation stuff as well. I forget what he's using a certain software, right? I forget what it's called.
Source Filmmaker.
Source Filmmaker
is what he's learning.
Yeah, so he might have some videos coming up very soon as well. So we're going to try to get in the video department very soon. I know we're planning to play Human Fall Flat on the channel, and there's other things.
Maybe some other games as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot coming up for Team Chaos Prod as a whole. But as for Virtual Ball Boys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday for Week 3 picks and a variety of other nonsense, because that's what we do. We produce nonsense, and it's good nonsense, I hope.
Yes.
With that being said, have a great day. See you next week.
So long. Good night. Good ball. And seize the day. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys, and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.